Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nash, how are you? My name is Tiro, not a real name. I am a 20-year-old woman. I was born and I was raised here in Bari. I'm living here in Harare. Life has never been easy. Growing up, it was never easy at all. My father and my mother, they were just poor. As for my mother, she is a street vendor at Mbari Musika. She sells vegetables and tomatoes. She sells the tomatoes in bulk to other street vendors. Whilst my father is a struggling mechanic who barely makes enough to keep us going. I still remember growing up seeing my parents struggle each and every day. Now they don't fight as much as they used to, but back then, when we were still young, they used to fight a lot, fighting over money, fighting over food, fighting over this, blaming each other for us being poor. In particular, my father, he used to blame my mother, and he'll be like, if I had never gotten married to you, if I had never gotten married to this woman, right now I could be in the UK with my cousins, but I am here in Bari suffering. Look at the way that I am suffering. So what happened was that when they got married, my mother did not have a birth certificate. She did not have an ID. So my father, when he got the opportunity to migrate to the UK, that was when he said, there is no way that I can leave my wife and kids. My wife does not have a birth certificate or an ID. So what is going to happen to her and the kids? It is far much better that I stick by my wife, and when her documents are done, we can migrate to the UK. Unfortunately, after my mom had gotten a birth certificate as well as the ID, that opportunity was already gone. And my father kept on blaming my mother for that. By the time that I was in Form 4, I already knew that there was no way, it was not possible for me to go to university. My parents could not even pay for my exams, even my school fees, they were struggling. And by the time that the results came out, I knew that I was not going to make it. I had only passed a few subjects, and that was the end, I can say, of my education. There is one more thing. I wish that there are other organizations that can help here, because whilst some of my classmates were going to varsity, as for me, I tried to go to vocational training. So that is where I want, if you know any organizations, they need to do investigations, because most of these colleges that are offering vocational training to poor kids, they kids are being raped. These young girls, like what happened to me, by the lecturers. That is what is going on in vocational colleges that offer vocational training. When I got them at that college, I did not know. I thought that maybe it was love at first sight. There was this other lecturer that approached me and told me that he was in love with me. Little did I know that the guy, this is what he does each and every year. He then starts to date those new students that have no idea as to what happens at that campus. So I slept with the guy. Unfortunately, I saw that he was just cheating on me. I then became friends with this other girl who told me that there were other ways to make money. But then I was focused. I was looking for a job, anything that could help me to make money. Even though I did not have qualifications, I knew that I could never get a proper job. So I was looking for things that were available for me. Housekeeping jobs, as a waitress, worked for this other restaurant in town, or even street vending with my mom. I was selling airtime and vegetables with my mother, but I found out that I was not born to be a street vendor, for it is exhausting and it pays almost nothing, close to nothing the whole day, and then you do not get any meaningful profits at all. I could not do that. That was when one of my friends that I had met when we were still in vocational training, so she had already gotten a job, because as for her, she's a woman who knows what she wants. Even though the lecturers were sleeping with her, she did not drop out of school. She kept on studying. And now that she was working, she told me that she had another side hustle. She was like, girl, what are you doing? Selling airtime. It is far much better that I teach you how to make money in Harare. That was when she said we were supposed to meet somewhere. I went there. I went to town after she had told me to come to town. When I arrived there, I thought that maybe she had a big plan for me. She told me that I was supposed to see what was on her WhatsApp. And then I saw that it was a dating group. I was so bored and angry. And I said, so this is what you called me for? You just wanted to show me that there is this Harare hookup dating group. So how is it connected to making money? And this Tinder thing, what is it even about? I don't even understand how you can make money from WhatsApp and Tinder. So she told me that she was going to teach me how to make money. In that group, there were plenty of women that are there, and then there are men that buy, sort of like just buying love from the women that will be in that group. And she said, what you need to do is to take the most attractive picture that you have, but you cannot use the same number that your parents know or any other of your relatives that they know, because what needs to happen is that if you have the courage, you have to take a profile picture when you are naked, and then you just leave it there so that the men in the group, because there is too much competition, you have to know that the men will be looking at all the profile pictures. This is not the time, my love, to put a profile picture of maybe of a doll or just any inspiration message. You need to put yourself there. And she helped me. She said, you are going to wear this so that your cleavage can be out. And then the men, when they are looking, they can be attracted to you. So I then registered another SIM card, downloaded another WhatsApp, and then I started using that WhatsApp. Within a couple of days, I was getting messages from men that were offering to take me out. Some wanted dinner dates, while list others, they were weird, they wanted more. I quickly realized that in this game, if I played my cards right, I could make more money in one night, more than I could have ever made whilst working as a maid. So it started really small, and then I started to meet men. What I'll do is that a man will take me out, then we would go and drink, and then the only money that I would make out of that date, if the man will give me extra something for transport, then I would keep it after the date. Then they came the real offers. There were men that were willing to pay for my time. Usually these were Christian men that do not want to sleep with other women other than their wives. So they pay you for being with them, for the company. You can go to a restaurant, pretend as if you're girlfriend and boyfriend, and then they will pay you. Mostly they are married and Christian who are lonely and they just want to taste something. So they paid me well. I was living good. I was able to afford new clothes, hairstyles, and even buying groceries, so much that I saw that my parents did not have the pressure anymore. At that time, that was when my friend kept on reminding me that the game plan was for me to go back to school. She said, try to have a diploma so that you can get a proper job. When we do this, it is supposed to be a side hustle, not the main thing that you rely on. You need to upgrade yourself, because she was even going to night college so that she can study part-time, but not me. I did not want to do that. I was done with school. I did not care. Being young, I was making money and I was able to buy anything that I wanted whenever I wanted. And I said, no ways. There is no way that I will go back to school. School is already over for me. One evening, I was feeling bored. That was when I was scrolling through my WhatsApp when I saw that there was a message in my archives, because there were some men that will just want to speak with you, wasting your time. So I'll put them in the archive. There was a message from this other guy. What I did not like about him is that I do not like men that do not put themselves on the profile picture, because those are the weird ones. And usually these ones that put pictures of cars. So he had a picture of a black Mercedes Benz, and I said, this one is another weird one. I'm not going to respond, and I archived him. But on that night when I was lonely, that was when I started opening the messages, looking for someone who can give me money. I opened his message, and the message was like, hello, beautiful. Are you available tonight? I am willing to pay you $500 for your time. I was like, oh no, that money is already gone, because when I opened the message, it was after a couple of days. I said, $500 is already gone. What am I going to do? That is a lot of money, more than I had ever made in a single night. Most men, they usually were offering me 50, sometimes 100, and I had never been offered 500 US dollars. I then responded, oh, I said, thank you, God. When I saw that, immediately he opened the message after I had texted him, and he said, hi, how are you? And I asked him if the offer was still available, and he said, yes, of course. Do you want to be with me? And I said, yes, please. So he then told me that he was going to book a room there by Avondale, a luxury room for the both of us to share some quality time. That was a good sign, because usually only a serious man will be quick to book a room. I agreed, and I got ready, wore my best dress, makeup, and made sure that I was looking perfect. When I arrived, I noticed that there was something that was wrong with this guy. The pictures that he had sent me and what I saw on the ground, it was totally different. He was in his late 50s. He was older than my father. I said, what is going on here? And he said, apologies, my love. You know, these days you have to look a little bit young. So those pictures that I sent you, I edited them on my phone with AI, and you can fall for me. I did not like it at all. But anyway, this was for money. When we were in that room, that was when the guy told me that he wanted to go and bath himself. When I looked at him, I said, oh God, this guy is so sick. His skin was so dry and ashy and very old. And I said, this is the day that I am going to get my HIV. Even though I had tried to make sure that we had protection, but I was so scared on that day. But I did not care, because my friend had reminded me that at all the times, no matter what kind of a situation you face, you need to remind yourself that money is money. You are there to get money. So I told myself that I need to relax, for what was important was the money that the guy was going to give to me. The guy, he then undressed himself and he went into the bathroom. When he went into the bathroom, after he had finished bathing, that was when he returned back. So I was already sitting there by the bed and waiting for him. I had already undressed myself. The guy, he kept on avoiding me. So I said, this guy is very sick, because what had happened was that when we entered into the guest house, the way that he was walking as if someone that has an STI. And that is what I quickly learned when I started dating a lot of men. It is very easy to see if a man has a painful STI, like he was walking with his legs separated so that he does not hurt his private part, since it will be suffering from the STI. So the guy, he was walking with a limp, and I noticed it. So he then told me that there was something that he wanted us to discuss about. I said, what is it now? He said there was something that he wanted me to do for him. That was when he confessed to me, and he said, I have a wound on my buttocks, on the left and the right buttock. There is a wound that is there, and the wounds cannot heal. So I want you to assist me. And he confessed, and he said he got that wound. It was in the year 2009 when he did his first ritual. Back then, he said he was selling DVDs and black and white TVs and second-hand shoes that he took from Botswana. Business was slow, my love, he said, until someone introduced me to a Sangoma after he had faced so many misfortunes in his business. The Sangoma told me that if I wanted to be rich, I had to do a ritual. So in that ritual that will chase away all of the misfortune, he gave me a small black bottle, and he told me that I was supposed to bury it at the entrance of my shop. He also gave me a warning to never sleep with prostitutes, for if I did, something terrible was going to happen to me. He told me that he was going to make some markings using a razor blade on my buttocks. Each had its own markings, and he then rubbed some charms into the markings that he had made. And then he told me that the charms would be in my blood forever, and it was what was going to assist me to chase away the misfortunes that I was facing. At first, my business boomed. I went from selling DVDs to opening electronic shops in town. I started importing big TVs as well as laptops. He said that he was the first to import those laptops from Dubai. He opened a second-hand shop in Borodale. I was making money, driving the latest cars, as well as dating this other very beautiful woman. So when he slept with that woman, he said he saw that things did not even change and he was still making money. That was when he made a mistake one trip when he was going to buy more items for his shop. That was when he booked a prostitute to travel with him, and he slept with that prostitute. After he had slept with the prostitute, that was when he started to feel itchy right there where he had the small wounds on his buttocks, and the wound kept on getting big and big and big. And he went back to the Sangoma and he was told that the wound would not be cured and it was irreversible, for he had broken the rules of the shrine. Therefore, he was supposed to suffer having the wounds on his buttocks forever for the rest of his life. And that was the only way that he could keep his money. He looked at me and he said, "My love, that is why I offered you $500. I said, "Hey, $500 so that I can lick your wound like you were saying. I cannot do that. I cannot do that." He kept on touching me as he was trying to romance me, begging me to go down on my knees so that I can lick his buttocks on the place where the wound is. I said, "Never, never. Don't touch me, because if you touch me, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to scream," as I was busy picking up my clothes and wearing them. He reached for his phone and he said, "If you do not do exactly as I tell you right now, if you do not do it, I am going to call one of my boys. They are going to be here very soon. And when they come here, you are going to see what is going to happen to you." I got so scared and I said, "So what do you want me to do?" He turned around and he said, "Lick me." And then I went on my knees and then I started licking the wound. Even though I could not do it, I was scared when he had told me that he had the power to call boys that would come into the guest house and then they were going to hurt me. They can even be waiting outside. He said, "You won't leave this room." I got so scared and I panicked. As I was busy licking the wound, my eyes were teary. I was crying. My whole body was shaking. I had never been in such a situation. Even at that time, when we entered into that room, I just smelled that there was something that was smelling bad, as if there was someone that had pooped in their pants. So when this guy undressed himself, he just dropped his trousers and his shirt onto the floor. When he was in the shower, I picked it up. Oh my God, the way that it was smelling. It was smelling like rotten tomatoes. So the guy made me to lick his wound, and after I had licked his wound, that was when he said, "Here, babe, take this money." I counted the money. It was no longer $500. Now it was $1,000 that he had given to me. And then he said, "If you want, we can sleep in this room. I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to sleep with you. We can just relax and sleep in this room. Then tomorrow we can see what we can do." And I said, "No, please take me to town." He took me to town. Then I got onto the taxi, returned back to Mbare. The moment that I got out of the taxi, I vomited like no man's business, because I kept on thinking about the way that I was licking his wounds on his buttocks. I could not shake off the feeling. I did spend the next 3 days in bed, unable to eat, unable to sleep, kept on thinking about it. So to other women out there, please be careful. There are other blessers who can do bad things to you. As for my friend, she said she has a game plan. She's not going to stop. When I told her that this is the shocking thing that I discovered when I was with that blesser that I hooked up with, and she said, only that I even saw things that are even more scarier than what you saw, and all that I care about is the money that I am making, because a game plan is such that she wants to make as much money as she can, buy a car, buy a house, and after having a property, then she can apply for a visa to go to the United Kingdom, and then she say, "I will relax by then because I would have made so much money." So that is the situation that I came across I just want to warn other women out there. It is not every man that has clean money. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister, and that was the translation of the message that was sent to me. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.